Good morning and welcome to Weekends with Whitney. Coming up on this morning's show, meet one of Louisiana's music proteges. At 15 years old, he's the youngest state fiddle champ ever. How the young musician and his 200-year-old fiddle are making history together. It's getting messy on Weekends with Whitney. What is all of this about? Well, I have a new appreciation for anyone who does handcrafted pottery. I'll show you. A woman who does it amazingly, and she tried to teach me in the art of pottery. Her newest creations will put a smile on your face and a new spin on your morning cup of coffee. It may be the only mug shot you'll want to share with the world. Plus, we talk success with Dr. Nick, why we may need to redefine the fruits of our labor. But first, not many 14-year-olds get to take the stage at Jazz Fest, but you're about to meet the boy who did. The stage was set long ago for his rise to success.
Good night and joy be with you all.
James Linden Hogg is one of Louisiana's extraordinary rising musicians. He's only 15 years old and plays more than a dozen instruments. The cello, the bagpipes, the banjo,
Had my share of good.
the piano, the military fife, and the Irish penny whistle. But he's most known for his mastery of the violin. And the fiddle. In fact, he's the reigning state fiddle champion. Beating out fiddlers who've been playing more than 50 years.
It's really been a great thing for me because it finally validates my practicing paying off.
He's been playing and practicing since he was only 5. Every year he'd add a new instrument to his lineup. His dad, Jim, always invested time and money into a wide variety.
Buy very good instruments, buy quality instruments, and let them just lay around the house. Certainly when he was first starting, and I've got a nice vintage instrument, I'm like going, because he's banging on it and he's not. But that's the only way they're going to learn, is they got to be able to take ownership of them like it's theirs. And so that's what I did with him, Linda and I, and we bought quality instruments, and he took pride in the instruments, that they weren't toys, they were the real McCoy.
Like this one. This violin is shockingly 230 years old.
And it took a long time for me to find that, but and it sounds so old. And nothing against Chinese-made violins, but they don't sound like old world violins, period.
And that one came from where? Where was it made?
That one came from actually northern Italy.
Another violin of his is 150 years old and once unplayable. Jim says it's symbolic of life.
We sent it down to a luthier that knew what he was talking about, and he took that violin and he rebuilt it. He took all the parts apart, and it took him a long time to do it, and he shaved the wood and everything, and now it's just brilliant the way it sounds. where you are in life. You may think, I'm not having anything going on with my life, I'm irrelevant, you know, nobody's calling me, whatever, I'm on the shelf of life, you know. Man, allow yourself to get a total, you know, physical, spiritual makeover, and then get used again, you know, jump back up in life and get played again, you know. And so that's kind of what we learned about the old violin.
Like the instruments and the music he plays, James Linden has an old soul.
The music I love playing is the music that really created America. Music like Scotch-Irish music and Americana. Of course, some of the musicians, you know, that inspired me would be people like Pete Seeger and Bob Dylan, and you know, the Chieftains as well, and even a lot of musicians that no one even knows about. For instance, Stephen Foster, America's first pop artist. He wrote Camptown Races, Old Susanna, Beautiful Dreamer, and many other folk songs. And he was America's first pop artist, because before that, everyone was still singing the old songs from England and Scotland.
He's a different sort of young man. He absolutely loves music, he loves history, he loves the founding of this country. He loves everything period authentic. He's an old soul. He does not play video games, he's never played one. And so he occupies his mind with learning.
He learned a lot on a recent trip to Europe. He visited 15 countries and even performed in a 14th century German village.
It expanded my music ideas because I realized that there is a whole world out there of different kinds of music, and I love all kinds of music. I don't want to stick just to one style, you know. I love all kinds, and so I like to try different kinds. And European music, there's all kinds. I mean, you can just travel 50 miles and the music there is different than it is over there.
His own musical roots run deep too.
Well, my dad had a band before I was born, and growing up, I could go and, you know, as a little child, you know, play the mandolin or something like that. Just get up on stage and bang on it.
My mother was an amazing yodeler. She could yodel. My mother really could have been on the Grand Ole Opry. She really could have. She could sing like Patsy Montana.
His dad wasn't a musician, but he loved music.
He would travel around to Nashville and Memphis and wherever. When he'd come home, he'd bring home these hillbilly records, Hank Williams and Ernest Tubb and Grandpa Jones. And so we had the Beatles, and we had Hank Williams and Ernest Tubb. And every Saturday morning, he'd wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, and he'd play, you know, Grandpa Jones. Hey, Rattler, hey, Rattler, you know, just as we go, here we go again. And then we fell in love with it, you know. You know, or Hank Williams, you know. I'm so lonesome, I could cry. I mean, that was our background. And so that's what we learned. Now, this guitar right here, I bought this guitar from 14-time Grammy winner Ricky Skaggs. Ricky Skaggs recorded several records on this, History of the Future and Soldier of the Cross, and I just knew I had to have it. And so I've been playing this one. So
that's where your money goes. Those are your investments.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it makes music, and it's your friend, and it's your companion, you know. Music is a language unto itself. You can be a great orator, but man, you come in with a chord progression, it'll just liven the place up or make people cry. Or
James Linden just released a CD. It's called College Fund Volume 1.
You can tell by the name that the profits that are made by selling the CD are going for my college fund. But it's a lot of the music I love to play, and a few songs that I wrote. The genre, if you will, of the music would be Americana, Old World, and Scotch-Irish.
Lakes of the Pontchartrain is one of those old world songs on his new CD.
Lakes of the Pontchartrain.
Father and son often play together.
I cherish it. People say, oh, I know you're proud of your son, and I'm back here in the background going, I'm just smiling.
Jim admits his son is a better musician than he'll ever be.
He took off and he passed me up like real quick.
His musical style isn't mainstream.
Alas, my Lord.
People are looking for more authenticity. And James Linden brings that authenticity to his audiences wherever they go. It's not just 7-Eleven music, you know, where it's 7 words and you got to sing them 11 times. It's original music. It's not where you're copying another sound.
How difficult is it to write music?
It's not very difficult.
Really?
Music is written from the heart, and I think the best music is written not forced. So if something will come to you as a thought or something, you just write it and write it down, and it might not rhyme or anything like that, but I believe the words are the most important thing in the song. It's not very difficult. Anyone can write a song if they put their mind to it.
Radio DJ Scott Ennis says he's a rare talent.
You know, they've raised a classic kid who is basically an Osmond. He has taught himself how to play every one of those instruments. And, you know, Hunter Hayes was like that, you know, and went on to be a superstar.
But James Linden cares nothing about being a star.
I don't care about fame. It's not the point.
He's not out for the glory or the fame or whatever, and he doesn't need Nashville to deem him worthy to do what he's doing.
I play music because I love playing music, and I love playing music to honor God with it.
If you'd like to get a copy of his new CD or find out some of the many places you can see him performing live, head to his website, jameslindenhogg.com. And still to come, some of the most whimsical, make you giggle original art I've seen in years. Artist Terri Kennedy calls them her Mug Shotz. We'll take you inside her studio to find out why in her 30-year career, a mistake turned into a masterpiece. Then Dr. Nick challenges our definition of success, why many of us have it all wrong, and how it can free us to be our best. As Weekends with Whitney continues.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River, here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
In a world filled with TV and video games, children are losing their thirst for learning and adventure. On February 27th, that all changes. Summer camp is back, and Breck is the place to be. Recreation, theater, animals, nature, art. At Breck, adventure is just around the corner. Register for Breck Summer Camp, February 27th at breck.org, and give your child a summer they will never forget.
Go Roof is proud to serve the Baton Rouge and surrounding areas with our years of experience and quality service. We want more than just your roofing needs. Go Roof cares about the client and wants you to be our customer for life. Roof replacement, repair, vents, and more. Go Roof will get it done. We have excellent standing relationships with all the top insurance companies, so making your claim is fast and easy. A beautiful roof every single time at Go Roof. Call now for a free estimate.
Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. Well, some mornings it's just a little hard to get geared up for the day ahead and greet the world with a smile, right? So, when a friend recently gave me this, the first thing I thought was, what a fun way to have my morning cup of coffee and get an instant smile. And the second thing I thought, I gotta meet this artist. Welcome to the Potting Shed. It's Potter Terri Kennedy's art studio. It's filled with her stunning, one-of-a-kind, handcrafted creations. Vases, bowls, mugs, bird feeders, and some made especially for hummingbirds. But it's her latest whimsical creations that are all the rage, her Mug Shotz.
They're funny. Let's be honest, they're funny. And people like funny. You know,
Life's serious enough.
Exactly. You need to play.
Terri can't keep them in stock. Shoppers can't resist taking a mug shot. What's also funny, the first was a mistake.
I used to make face jugs, and they were very popular, the old-timey whiskey jugs, you know, with the faces on them. And I started making them into mugs, and they were cute. But one time I accidentally put the nose too high on the mug. It was right before a show. So I had the lips, I had the nose. It was way too high to put eyes on there. So I just sighed, and instead of starting over, I said, oh, their eyes can be their eyes when they drink out of it. And it's like all of a sudden it hit me, oh my God, their eyes can be their eyes. This can be their alter ego, you know? And so it's kind of like that's where it started. And
that led to another smashing success, her wine goblets.
The wine ones I came up with for winos started with an accident. So and me being lazy enough not to redo it.
There is beauty in mistakes. You're
That's it. That's it.
That. How do you decide how you're going to do the lips?
I try to do different expressions. I don't want it symmetrical on either side. I want it to look smirky. I want it to look, you know, like somebody has an attitude, especially the women. I want them to be sassy and divas. So I try to make their lips really wide and really, you know, red.
Collagen injected.
Yes, exactly. You should see some of them. They look like Mick Jagger lips, I swear. So anyway, so the better, the bigger the lips and the more caricature I can get it, the better.
Her passion for pottery actually started as a child in the kitchen.
My mother would make pie dough crust, and she'd cut off the little edges and she'd give them to me, and I'd sit there and form them, and she'd bake them for me, and I thought that was really cool.
For decades, it was a weekend hobby. Her real job was in computer science.
You ever dream you could make a living at it?
No.
And how did that evolve?
It just took a leap of faith to decide that I could actually do this and, you know, leave my job and dangle for a while until it worked. So it's nice knowing that I can go out there and create and be a part of my clay that I'm so passionate about, and that I can actually do it for a living. It's very special when you have a piece in your hand or a piece on your wall that you look at that you know that nobody else has one exactly like that.
Each piece will take 2 weeks to complete start to finish, and she spends nearly 8 hours working on each one individually. She sells them for around $30. A few people have complained that's too high, but she says they just don't understand what goes into it.
Actually, a person who is a craftsman putting their ideas and their thoughts and a piece of themselves into it instead of a manufacturer. It can be cheaper if you get it at Walmart. You don't have a piece of that person. I believe that when people buy a piece of art, they're buying part of that artist.
Terri's a certified master craftsman, and she even teaches pottery at LSU.
Hard to teach people to do this?
Not really, not really. I'll be glad to show you. It's really something I think everybody should try, because I like to say that the clay gets underneath your fingernails and into your bloodstream, then you're addicted for life.
I'm thrilled to take her up on her offer. First, she gets some clay and demonstrates for me. I immediately realized there are a lot of steps and details to remember.
That is what I'm going to teach you how to make.
Okay.
All right. All right.
You got your work cut out for you, though.
You kind of have to manhandle
It's technique.
it. Yeah, you manhandle the clay. And that is what that is the biggest
I've handled a few men in my time.
manhandle handle that. That's
I don't know.
it.
I don't know if I did it well, but
Slowly.
okay. So, oh, I got the pedal.
Yeah, you got the pedal. Not doing that. So there you go. Because you were the boss of the clay. You mean move your chair up some?
Yeah.
There you go.
The chair's the boss right now. My bottom doesn't look as good as yours. It's
Well, I've been trying to trim my bottom for years, but
Me too. Oh boy,
you're doing good.
Okay. Oh boy. It'll get away from me.
Slowly come up like this as the wheel turns very slowly. Yeah. Good luck.
I don't push any pedal real slow.
I usually have everybody drive it, like spin it a few times.
Oh, you shouldn't have me drive it. Oh boy, it's a little wonky. Oh wait, I'm not braced. Okay.
Yeah,
Lots of
you
things to
develop
remember.
very bad posture doing this.
I see. Gee, you need a massage often, I'm sure.
That's it.
Oh boy, I have a hole in it. Darn it.
You have to start over.
Do over.
You
Darn
ready
it.
to start over?
Wow, it's entailed. Okay.
Yeah, handmade really is.
It is really all that.
That's
Try not
it,
to put a
that's
hole
it.
in this one. This was so difficult, or challenging. And I think of your mugs over there with the handle that's perfect, and the face. I'm thinking, wow, impressive. There's an art to it I don't have, but I do have a new appreciation for the art.
I think the part that really gets me is that people enjoy what I'm doing as a passion. So I'm actually doing something that not only do I love, but others love it too.
I did get a little carried away. I just thought, what great gifts. And you know, if you're in an office, what a lift for somebody else sitting in the cubicle next by who may be having a rough day. But if you would like to see this, or any of her other pottery, she is in Baton Rouge at the Elizabethan Gallery, and she's also at galleries in Lafayette and New Orleans. But if you'd like to meet Terri in person and get your own mugshot, she loves for people to stop by her booth. You can find her every first Saturday of the month at the Arts Market in downtown Baton Rouge, right at the corner of Main and 5th. She's also going to be at Fest for All. That's coming up the first weekend in April, and she also has a great website, potterystudio.com. And still to come, laying aside our perceptions of success with Dr. Nick, how it can bring more happiness and fulfillment into our lives as Weekends with Whitney continues.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful and exhausting, unless you choose me. I'm Regina Roselle with KDK Realty. Don't just trust your largest asset to anyone. Go with success. I've sold hundreds of homes over the last 10 years, and I can get you top dollar for your home, as well as get you the best price on your new one. Email me at buywithregina@gmail.com. I'll do all the work. All you have to do is pack. Let's get moving together.
The new year is a perfect time to make your money work hard for you. Hi, I'm Ian James, financial advisor and president of Capital Financial Group. Like millions of Americans, you're likely paying higher taxes and higher fees than you probably should. With 20 years of industry experience, I have a proven plan to analyze your investments and reduce hidden costs and fees. You work hard for your money. It's time to let your money work hard for you. Call me, Ian James, for a free, no-obligation portfolio review and a brighter financial future.
We live in a culture where success can be everything. We're told from little kids, be successful, be all you can be. Go out there, get a college education, have that great high-paying six-figure job. Dr. Nick joins us this morning with more on success and fruitfulness. Good to see you.
Good morning, Whitney.
You say they're very different.
Years ago in the 70s, I read Henry Nouwen's work, and for those older people like me who were Catholic trained, he was a brilliant priest psychologist who really made, I think, a great distinction between success and fruitful. Do we want to be successful in life, or do we want to be fruitful in life and multiply? And it's always been something that I have struggled with, because the culture drives me to want to be successful, which is what? Have money, have things, have power.
New car, big house.
Feel like that I've made an advance, that I'm better than I was 10 years ago, right?
Right.
Because, and we'll hear it. We want the next generation to have more than their parents. And I really sometimes think back and say, why? Things?
Right.
But fruitful to me has more of a horizontal, giving, bearing, doing for, being the servant leader that I think we're all called to be to some degree. Every religion has a service component to it.
Right.
That we're here to make a difference.
Yes.
And we're not here just to acquire and gain. And I, as I think about it too, Whitney, I don't know what because I know success and fruitfulness we all struggle with. Do we ever really succeed? And the problem with the culture of success is that we pick up the paper or we go on Facebook or we see a news article and we say, they've got so much more.
Right.
When am I going to get there? And that is to me the antithesis of what fruitfulness is. Fruitfulness is I'm in my pot growing, bearing fruit for others to eat.
Right.
To chew, that I'm giving something to this world. I think there's a difference.
Yes, yes. And I think that perhaps if we looked at it more that way, we would have a lot more joy and satisfaction. It's not about getting the next promotion at work.
No.
Because it's going to give me $5,000 more.
No.
Or it's going to, I'm going up the ladder.
Going up the ladder.
But it's maybe how I can help someone underneath me grow. Or
Yes.
help out my community. Or help out my neighbors. Or teaching someone to read.
And remember that what kind of goes into that is there's also a kind of a self-pruning that goes on with fruitfulness. That I'm kind of evaluating who I am and what I am doing, and am I nurturing myself so that I may grow? Am I giving myself too much nurturing and water so that my leaves are turning yellow? I just love those images. Fruitfulness is a great image. Success doesn't speak to me. It has no weight to it other than just getting somewhere. And remember what I do for a living.
Right. But I bet that's changed over the years. I bet that's changed.
Well,
I bet your definition of success is different than it was 20 years ago.
Oh, vastly. Vastly. I'm saying that I think when I was a kid, I really was all about success and getting and somehow feeding the insecurity that I had. Now it's about, look, this is me, or this is what I've got to give, and I don't really want to be somewhere else. I still believe that success has so much comparison to it.
I know, right?
So much comparison to it.
It's evil.
So much comparison to it. And as I was saying earlier, remember, I deal with people who are many are very successful and miserable. So that tells me something about the world won't work.
Right. Scott Ennis. Crazy success. All the cartoon names, figures, won Air Personality of the Year by, the CMA, and huge accolades. He gets his most joy. He is most fulfilled when he's helping raise money for children in need.
Great.
And I just think
great image, great example.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he's not defined by that other. He's always done both. And he's, in his late 40s. So I think maybe as we grow older, we get there. And if we don't, then we should, right? We can just relax on the... We have to have all the promotions.
It's right. It's a different form of relaxation, though. Again, and I go back to what you're doing right now. I think that the kind of work you're doing right now, wouldn't you say that it promotes more fruitfulness? Oh, right. I mean, I don't. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
You really love what you do. You love your stories. You love doing that story on Scott Ennis.
Right. And I love learning about people. Billy Dean was on.
St. James. Billy Dean was talking about how he's not caught up with making a #1 hit
anymore.
It's
all about the craft. I mean, and that's another example of somebody who doesn't feel like his success is defined by being at the top of the top 10 chart list. And and I learn a lot from people like that. You know what I mean? It's great to see.
Of course you do. And the energy of that fruitfulness feeds the energy of your own fruitfulness. It doesn't want to make you be Billy Dean. It makes you want to be Whitney. Right?
Right.
It doesn't make you want to be Scott Ennis. It wants you to be Whitney.
Yeah.
How am I going to make a difference? That's how he does it. That's how he, you see, it breaks down comparisons.
Yes, you're right.
It breaks down comparisons.
And then
I don't want to be you. I admire and love you. I think the power is that you want me to be me.
Yes.
And to be fruitful in my own way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. And the part of the joy for me
Y'all should
too.
come on the set sometimes and visit. We have the best time talking about
but part of my
a live audience.
Right, you're right. Oh, Nikki, you wouldn't let him get a word in edgewise, neither would I.
Okay.
But I was going to say, and then part of the fruitfulness for me is then that I get to share those experiences with other people, or I get to take them into a world that they haven't seen before.
Yes.
And that was so joyful for me. And then I get to share that. You know, that's my fruitfulness.
Good, great, good for you, and I hope you continue.
Yeah.
And I hope that fruitfulness again will feed other people's desire to be fruitful.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. Do something that you love.
Do something.
Even if it's not what you make a living at, pick your passion and pick your fruitfulness.
Fruitful.
Or pick your fruit.
I think yeah, you know, someone once called me fruity. I'm going to now think of it as a compliment.
It was a compliment. You didn't see it at the time. See how you've evolved?
I want to be a watermelon.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye. We'll have much more Weekends with Whitney right after this.
Fruity.
Hi, I'm Drew Detlefs, and welcome to Camp Bow Wow.
We are Baton Rouge's premier doggy day camp, daycare, and behavioral training facility. Spanning over 14,000 square feet, your dog has plenty of room to play. We have covered yards that'll protect your dog from the sun and rain. We have a state-of-the-art HD monitoring system so you can watch your dog throughout the day. And don't forget, we also offer luxury suites.
So, stop in for a tour today and schedule your interview and get your first day free. This is Camp Bow Wow, where a dog can truly be a dog.
Atlas Foundation Repair, fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees. Thanks for sharing your time with me here on Weekends with Whitney. I know it's valuable, and I'm so glad that you think it's worth it. Have a great week ahead. This morning, we leave you with this. Boy. Oh boy. Okay.
So
oh boy.
There you go. Very
oh boy.
good.
It's a little wonky. Oh boy. Okay. So let's see.
Yeah, just don't gouge.
Oh boy.
Just
I'm
kind
sorry.
of do. See it?
Oh boy. I blew stuff in my eyeballs. Oh boy. Like my Oh boy. I'm holding it. Darn it. Rats.
I'm sorry to say there's nothing we can do about the hole. You have to start over.